What's up guys? As the thumbnail says, I was gonna do a tone chasing video for the STL Tones Middleton Tonality suit, but I quickly realized that was totally pointless. Cause the tones are already there, man, you don't have to chase anything. So check out my playthrough where I only use presets within the plugin with zero pre or post processing other than some mastering, and afterwards I'll go through which preset I used for which track. Alright, so before we dive into each individual track and the presets that I chose for them, let's just quickly go over the plugin and see what we got. So the plugin consists of 3 amps, amp 1 being a PV5150 block letter, amp 2 is a PV-XXX, and amp 3 is a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. All 3 amps sounds really good. The 5150 and the dual rectifier are both amps that I've played a lot throughout the years. And to my ears, they are extremely good representation of the real thing. It sounds really close, really natural, and the feel of the amp and the tonality of them, get it, are extremely good. So STL Tones have really outdone themselves on this one. The XXX though, I haven't tried that one in real form, but I really like how this one sounds. It's got a nice mid-range to it, which lends itself as a good lead amp in my ears. And the clean tones are actually pretty good as well, if you're into that. I'm not going to showcase that in this demo, but if you're after clean tones, you're really going to like this one. So 3 amps to choose from. And down here you have an input gain, a gate, a tuner, and some stomp boxes that goes in front of the amp. First off is a compressor. Next one is a pitch where you have an octave up and down, which is really handy if you have a lead or a melody or whatnot. You can really do some crazy stuff with this one. And after that you have 2 overdrives. This one you have a high pass and low pass too as well, with the other one being just a standard like a tube screamer with the normal drive balance and the tone. Next up are the amps themselves and the individual controls for each amp as a normal amp. You can just choose them like this and then just tweak the knobs as you please. And I must say the GUI in this plugin is purely awesome. Just look at the details on the side of the amp. Looks pretty killer in my opinion. And next up is the cab section where you have a dual cab simulation like this. A couple of different cabs to choose from with different speakers in them. A bunch of different microphones, and you can virtually place the microphone like this, both in position and also in distance and angle, which is really cool. And here is where the tonality of this plugin really is, because the IRs that I've captured for this plugin are amazingly sounding. And before you hit the last sections, the MIDI and the output, here you have an FX section where you first off have a really detailed equalizer, which pretty much eliminates the need of an external equalizer because it's really detailed, and a great sounding delay and reverb, which is awesome to use when you have a lead or a solo part. Yeah, so that's it with the features of the amp. So let's head into the project here and see what we got going. We have a left and right rhythm guitar, a left and right intro guitar, 2 melodies, leads that comes in a bit later, and a solo part. And down here we have program bass, that's programmed with Submission Audio Eurobass 2, and the drums are programmed with Bogren digital Krihm drums, which sounds amazing. And after that I have some light mastering, which I'll go through in a bit. And if we head back into the Tonality plugin, we can see that they've included a bunch of different presets made by Josh for rhythm, cleans, ambience, and leads and stuff. So for the main rhythm, I chose amp 3, rhythm 3, which is based off the Mesa Boogie Dual rectifier, and with the overdrive 1, and these cabs with these microphone settings, and the equalizer like this. And it sounds like this when you put it in solo. Pretty sick rhythm tones right there. So that's the same for rhythm left and right. So for the intro melody part, I wanted something to stand out a bit more from the main rhythm guitars. And I also wanted something to differ from the left and right intro guitar. So for that, I chose 2 different amps. For the left track, I used the 5150 with this settings, the amp 1 rhythm 1 preset, which has the overdrive 2 pedal engaged. And the cabinet section looks like this, with the equalizer is set up like this. And to make it a bit more epic as an intro melody, I just engaged the delay and reverb and took down the wet knob here to about 27% and 31% on the reverb. So that's for the left guitar. And for the right guitar, I chose the amp 2 rhythm 1 preset, which is the PV XXX, and the stomp box section is the overdrive 1. Cabinet section is set up like this, and the equalizer has this setting. And I also engaged the delay and reverb for this part. Took down the wet approximately the same way as the left one, and together they sound like this. Yeah, pretty sick sounding. Moving on to the melody parts that comes in a bit later in the song. For the first one, I chose the high octave lead preset, which is the 5150, and the pitch pedal engaged like this, and the overdrive 2 with the FX section looks like this. All pedals are engaged with different settings. It sounds like this. Nice opetish lead part there, which I really like. And after the half of this part, when the solo comes in, you got this single note part, which sounds like this in the DI, which fit really nicely over the main melody part here. And for that one, I chose the same preset as the main melody part, the high octave lead. So it sounds like this. And together they sound like this. So really complements each other. And lastly, we have the solo part, where I use the lead solo 2 preset, and that's the PV XXX amp with this settings on the actual amp. The stomp section is with the overdrive 1 engaged. The cabinet section is set up like this, and the FX section is set up like this with all the pedals engaged in this one as well, with different settings on the delay and reverb. And it sounds like this in solo. Yeah, pretty epic lead tone right there. Sounds awesome. And if we quickly just check out the bass and drums, which both are pretty important for the mix, of course, they sound like this. a pretty kick-ass drums and bass sound, if I may say so myself. So altogether, without any fancy mastering to it, other than some flatline on the main out here, just for some volume to you guys, it sounds like this. Sorry about the dropout there. I think it sounds really good. And lastly, if you just quickly check out the mastering setup I've got going here. First plugin in line, I have the mix tool from Sylosis, which reduces the gain by 12 decibels for some gain staging. And after that, I have the BX Console SSL 4000E from Plugin Alliance, which I have set up like this. Some high shelf and some low end added to it. Next one is the PukeTech EQ from Waves, which adds a bit of 100, around 2 decibels. And that's pretty much it for this one. Just add some oomph to the mix. And after that, I have the STL Tones Control Hub with the Atrium Audio Master Bus 3 engaged like this, which has this setup built in, tape simulation and Slate VTM 2-track, 15 IPS, submission flatline and the AOM Invisible Limiter G2. And the rest is set up like this. I haven't touched the pre or master EQ and no effects, of course. And the limiter is set to this. But just to control the peaks and push the volume a bit more, lent me to use the Isotope Ozone 6 maximizer, just to lift the volume a bit more and to take care of the most intense peaks. And this ADP-TR streamliner is just to see how much loudness I have. So if you turn the mastering chain on and off, you can hear the difference. Yeah, made the mix more punchy, bit more brightness, and just glued all the instruments together. So I really like the sound of this. Yeah, so that's it. You can get some really crushing guitar tones out of this plugin by using only the presets within. And if you set up a simple mastering chain like this, you can get a kick-ass sounding mix as well. Thank you so much for watching my demo. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below and I'll do my best to answer. And if you want to support me, please subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever I release a new video. Put a thumbs up to this one, really matters to me. And until the next one, see you later.